Hello everyone, this is Clucky Power and I'm here to give a basic tutorial on how to play Miss Marvel in Marvel's Avengers. In the beta, characters are only able to level up to level 15, so I won't go over every ability's effectiveness as I'm not able to test it myself, but I can give a brief summary of how each character plays. Miss Marvel is a melee hero that has a few interesting quirks. Even though most of her damage comes from using melee attacks, because of her ability to extend her limbs, she's actually able to melee attack enemies a couple meters away. And because of her ability to extend her limbs, Miss Marvel's even most basic attacks will hit multiple opponents. This can be great for crowd control, as a sweep kick will knock down multiple enemies at once. A downside of Miss Marvel though is that she's probably the weakest at ranged combat out of all the beta heroes. Due to her range only going as far as she can extend her arms, she will have a very hard time fighting high enemies in the air and turrets unless there are platforms for her to stand on nearby. Before going into her skills, Miss Marvel's skills rely on her intrinsic energy bar. Using this bar, Miss Marvel grows in size and obtains the benefits of dealing extra damage and automatically dodging basic blue attacks. This bar will deplete as it is used and even faster depending on the skills used, but will regenerate over time. Miss Marvel's skill trees are light attack, heavy attack, ranged, and intrinsic ability. Starting off with Miss Marvel's light attack tree, this tree takes advantage of Miss Marvel's long limbs to hit multiple opponents at once, or hit one certain opponent multiple times. These attacks also do considerable amount of damage and stun damage to the enemy stun gauge. One combo that can lead into a stun fast is her whirling wallop into her downward kick. If each hit connects in both of these attacks, you have a high chance of getting an enemy stunned. What makes these two skills better is that they both block break. Lastly, Miss Marvel has a dodge attack and a sprint attack in this tree that will hit multiple enemies and either spin the enemy around or cause them to fall down. Next we have the heavy attack skill tree. In this tree, Miss Marvel uses her fists and her feet more like hammers. Many of these attacks will block break, knock enemies back, and cause a medium amount of stun as she beats her enemies. And like the attack tree, she has a dodge and sprint attack. Miss Marvel uses these attacks to close the distance to the opponent, and will either stagger their opponent or knock them down. Unlike the light dodge and light sprint attacks, these are more focused on attacking one enemy than multiple, so depending on the situation, it will be better to use the light or heavy version. Now onto Miss Marvel's ranged tree. Most of these skills are unlocked at level 15. This tree focuses on Miss Marvel's ability to punch enemies at a close to medium distance away from her, as she can't attack as far as Black Widow or Iron Man can. But this tree does allow Miss Marvel to grab enemies in order to bring them closer to her, slam into other enemies, or crush them in the palm of her hand. Use this tree to take care of annoying flyers or enemies on higher platforms. Lastly is Miss Marvel's intrinsic ability tree. This tree relies on Miss Marvel's intrinsic energy bar and grants her the ability to grow and gain the benefits previously mentioned, which is extra damage and auto-dodge blue attacks. Later on in the skill tree, she gains a parry attack against yellow and blue attacks to lead to a light or heavy counterattack. Further upgrading this tree grants Miss Marvel the ability to heal 4% of her willpower bar while enlarged and reduce the cost of her intrinsic abilities. Miss Marvel's light intrinsic ability is reminiscent of her powers in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, where she spins around with her arms stretched out, and like in that game, Miss Marvel does a lot of damage and stun with this move. It can take out multiple enemies swiftly. Her heavy intrinsic ability causes Miss Marvel to slam the ground in front of her and launch multiple enemies. Both of these abilities will break blocks, but be careful with these abilities as they will drain your intrinsic energy bar very fast. Now that we went over Miss Marvel's skills, let's go over to her heroic abilities. Her first heroic ability is her high five. Miss Marvel will extend her palm out as if she was giving a high five to someone, but will instead slam into them hard and cause them to fly across the battlefield. This ability does good damage as a good way to push a dangerous enemy away from you. Next is her healing spirit ability. This ability heals Miss Marvel's willpower to full and will also heal nearby allies. Use this when everyone's willpower is very low. Lastly is Miss Marvel's ultimate ability, Embiggen. Miss Marvel grows considerably larger and gains a big boost in damage potential to the point she can take out multiple larger enemies in seconds, and she gains back a little bit of willpower. A very powerful ability to pull out when needing to do damage very quickly. That is the rundown of the skills and heroic abilities we have access to in the beta for Miss Marvel. I recommend playing Miss Marvel as a melee hero who specializes in the ability to hit multiple enemies at once with her very damaging strikes, and use her grabs to bring in more enemies closer to her so she can combo them too or use them as weapons. For the most part, Miss Marvel should let Iron Man and Black Widow go after high elevated turrets and flying enemies due to their longer range attacks and ability to use their range attacks much faster than Miss Marvel can. Miss Marvel has a slight delay in her attacks if she misses, and will have to make use of elevated platforms depending on the distance of the enemies. Miss Marvel can stay in the fight for a long time due to her ability to heal herself, auto dodge, and parry, but she still isn't as tanky as the Hulk, so be careful when surrounded or out of intrinsic energy. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial on how to play Miss Marvel, and if you did, remember to leave a like and a comment. And if you want to see more videos like this, remember to subscribe. I will be doing more tutorials when the game officially releases. And if you want to watch me live, come to twitch.tv/cluckypower and check my schedule on Twitch, or follow me on Twitter for when I'll be online. Both links are in the description below. That's it for now, bye, and thanks for watching.